Hey guys, welcome to the BioClean channel. So today we are going to work on International again, and this time we're going to replace the switches that are set up for our cruise control in our steering wheel. So it's a real simple project. Even I can do it, so I know that all of you guys can do it. So we're just going to take a quick look at it, see how it's put together first of all with it apart, and then it's going to be a lot easier to understand how to actually take it apart. So let's take a look. These switches, these part numbers are specifically for this truck. And so the only way you're going to know which ones are the right ones for yours is by using the VIN number that the truck is manufactured with, calling that into your International dealer, and you're going to need the last 8 numbers on the VIN. Once you give them that, tell them which switches you need, and they'll send you the right things. I know some switches have a air horn button. That's a totally different part number. These two that I have here that we're showing is just the on-off cruise control button, and then the set resume buttons there. So that's what these 2 boxes are, but there are other models out there, so you're going to want to make sure you get the right ones for your truck. What we want to do is remove the horn center piece here. We can see that that is attached to the wires here, but to do that we have to push in these spring clips, which then hold these pieces in place. So as we push those in, these will release, and then we can lift this off. If we try to force this off and pry it off, and it looks like somebody tried to do that at one point with this one because it's almost broke completely off, but this piece is about $200, and so we'd rather not spend an extra $200 if we don't have to. So we're going to insert these switches in here, and it is pretty simple to do, as long as we kind of master the technique in inserting a screwdriver in here, and we're going to push against these springs from a little hole in the side. Okay, so what we need, very simple, only one tool, but sometimes these are hard to get a hold of. So if you don't have one on hand, go to your local hardware store. You're going to need a screwdriver that is long and narrow. And what we're going to do with the screwdriver is we're going to actually access 2 different ports underneath the steering column right here. And so let's take a better look at that here. Maybe look at this picture and we'll show you what we're talking about. Alright, so let's take that screwdriver that you now have. Let's get to work. So let's insert it in those holes that we showed you just a moment ago. And so we've got those 2. So I'm going to pick the top one and get it in there. It is a little bit tricky to release those springs, and so this may not go quickly. Sometimes you have to work it a little bit. You might have to go back and forth. This truck in particular, as I was taking it off earlier, was very difficult to release, and I had the horn going off quite a bit. So if your horn functions, don't be surprised by that. Like that. Alright, so I got one released, so we see that. Now we'll see if we can get the bottom one going here. Ah, wow. Look at that. So we got this side is already done. Good. Earlier this side was easy, so we'll see if we're that lucky here. I guess we got it. Only after about 5 minutes of playing around. Hopefully your experience doesn't take that long. But I think we got it because you broke one off. So that's not good. Alright, so anyway, it'll still work, it'll hold on when we insert it because you're going to have 3 tabs holding it, but that isn't ideal, obviously. So ironically, that's the side that we thought got off right away. So let's go ahead, we're going to replace these switches now. So now we're going to do this one. This is the set cruise side and resume. So these are real simple. these just basically pop right out. On the back side, you've got a little connector. We're going to take that connector out here to release here. That's pretty simple. Take the new one. Insert that back in. And you'll notice that this wire has a little groove that it rides in here. So I want to make sure that you insert it back in that groove so it'll fit properly. Otherwise, if you don't do that, it's going to get pinched. And that's going to lead to more problems. Let's take the other side off now. Take that off. Here's the wires. Here's that groove again that we were just talking about. We'll remove our connector off the back side of that. Get that old one out of the way. Snap that back into place. That's pretty simple. Insert our wire back in that groove where it originally was. And then this goes back in place. So now we've got our two switches. They're mounted. They're connected. And now what we need to do is insert these back into these 4 holes. So here are those springs. One thing that you have to be careful of is in an effort to try and get these undone, sometimes the spring, maybe it'll be easier to show it on this one from the camera angle, the spring could possibly get underneath like so, and you don't want to leave it like that because then it's going to be problems trying to get it off and you're going to have difficulty accessing it through the hole. So if we're lucky, we'll take one screwdriver. Well, we're not going to be lucky. All right, take a second screwdriver, and sometimes it takes 2 of them to actually get this done. And we need to rotate it back up into the proper slot. So, just something to think about. So, make sure they're in the proper slots, and then it's time to reinsert. So make sure your wires are out of the way. Them in behind. Same thing over here. Put those in. Alright, everything's connected. So now we're just going to basically put it in the 4 holes and then you just pop it into place. And you're done. And the horn works. So we haven't broke that. Alright, so that's the job. It actually is pretty simple. Hopefully have better success than I did. So thanks again, and we'll talk to you next time.